On a regular summer day back in 1150, residents of the small English village of Woolpit made a very strange discovery on the far end of town. It was two young children that looked frightened, but as they approached the children they noticed something odd. The children were said to be of unusual appearance with green skin and strange clothing. They were unable to communicate in English and instead spoke a language that no one could understand. This initial description set the stage for a narrative filled with wonder and speculation. But, nevertheless, they were taken in by the villagers, and over time the odd pair eventually lost the green tone in their skin and even learned to speak English. The more time that passed, the villagers that took them in would become very close with the children, and after the children learned proper English, they were finally asked what everyone was dying to know. Where did these children come from, and why no one ever came looking for them? The children claimed that they'd come from a distant land called St. Martin, where people rarely encountered sunlight. Taken in the years since, the green children of Woolpit have become a baffling historical mystery. But what was most intriguing, and what was on all the villagers' minds, was what turned their skin green. What was the land of St. Martin? Or could the explanation be extraterrestrial? The story of the green children of Woolpit was recounted by two different chroniclers, the 13th century historian William of Newburgh and the 12th century abbot Ralph of Coggeshall. But Newburgh and Coggeshall both tell a similar story of how two green children appeared in the village of Woolpit. As both tales state, the two children were discovered by villagers around the year 1150. Historic UK reports that they were spotted crawling out of one of the pits, meant for catching wolves, that gave the village its name. Most startling of all, they were green. During harvest, while the reapers were employed in gathering in the produce of the fields, two children, a boy and a girl, completely green in their persons and clad in garments of a strange color and unknown materials, emerged from these wolf pits. Newburgh recounted in his Historia Rerum Anglicarum, or History of English Affairs, from 1220. Not only were the children green and clad in strange clothing, but they also seemed to speak gibberish. Coggeshall reports that they were taken to the home of Sir Richard de Calne, who lived nearby. But though de Calne offered the green children food, they refused to eat anything. After a few days of this, the green children of Woolpit discovered some green beans growing in de Calne's garden and eagerly gobbled them up. Before long, they reportedly took to eating the food the villagers offered them as well, and began to lose the green tinge of their skin. Though the little boy grew sick and died, the girl seemed to flourish under the villagers' care. Before long, she mastered the English language, and told the people of Woolpit a strange story about their homeland. The girl, who took on the name Agnes Barra, according to ancient origins, eventually told the villagers that she and her brother had come from a place called St. Martin, but she wasn't sure how they'd ended up in Woolpit. She went on to tell the villagers, "On a certain day, when we were feeding our father's flocks in the fields, we heard a great sound, such as we are now accustomed to hear at St. Edmund's, when the bells are chiming," she said, "and whilst listening to the sound in admiration, we became all of a sudden, as it were, entranced by these sounds, and in the blink of an eye, we found ourselves among you in the fields where you were reaping." Upon further questioning, she said that her country was Christian and had churches, but otherwise was quite different from England. She would then explain how there was little to no sunlight where she comes from in these next statements, when she further describes where her and her brother lived before appearing in Woolpit. She says, and I quote, "The sun does not rise upon our countrymen, our land is little cheered by its beams. We are contented with that twilight, which, among you, precedes the sunrise or follows the sunset," she explained, according to Newburgh. Moreover, a certain luminous country is seen, not far distant from ours, and divided from it by a very considerable river, end quote. But even after she explained her origins to the best of her abilities, no one was ever any closer to finding out where exactly the green children of Woolpit came from, as the girl, Agnes, apparently lived a fairly normal life, although some sources state that she became rather loose and wanton in her conduct in her later years. So who were the green children of Woolpit? What was the land of St. Martin? Could the explanation be otherworldly, or could the children have come from an alternate reality? Personally, that's what I picture when hearing the girl's account on how they ended up in Woolpit. She said one second she and her brother were in their homeland feeding their father's flocks, when suddenly they heard what they now know as church bells, and simultaneously, in the blink of an eye, they found themselves among the villagers in the fields they were reaping. It's like they somehow teleported from one reality to another. And what makes it even stranger is the description of her homeland, and how it seems to be a world of constant darkness. Though a well-documented story, and a story that has truly fascinated people for centuries, it's also unclear whether the story of the Green Children of Woolpit truly existed. Today, there are a few possible explanations for the children's skin, clothing, and language. They may have been poisoned with arsenic and left to die, which could explain their green-toned skin. Another explanation for their green skin could be chlorosis, which results from malnutrition and may explain why their green skin faded away as they adjusted to a better diet. Or they could have suffered from malnutrition due to a strict diet of green beans, also causing their skin to turn green, and in turn explaining why they would only eat green beans when they first arrived in the village. And as for their strange language and clothing, historic UK notes that they may have been children of Flemish immigrants who were killed by King Stephen or King Henry II. Thus, what the villagers in Woolpit took as gibberish might actually have been Dutch, and the twilight described by the children could have been the leafy darkness of the nearby Thetford forest. Then again, others have offered some very different explanations. As Ancient Origins explains, some claim that the children's green skin, strange clothes, and unintelligible language are a sure sign that they came from outer space. This theory appears to have first been told that the children of Woolpit fell from heaven. Though there's little evidence to back this theory up, it's certainly true that there's some overlap between the story of the Green Children of Woolpit and modern descriptions of aliens as little green men. Regardless of the theories, the story of the Green Children of Woolpit continues to captivate the imagination, serving as a reminder of the mysteries that linger in history, where the line between fact and fiction often blurs. Whether they were aliens, figments of folklore, or victims of circumstance, the Green Children have left an indelible mark on cultural narratives, inviting both curiosity and debate about the nature of our understanding of the past. Of course, there are also some who say that the Green Children of Woolpit never existed at all. But what do you think about this intriguing mystery? Let me know in the comments below. And if creepy and weird mysteries are the kind of content you're into, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button with notifications on so you never miss a new video. Well, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next one.